All right, today we are gonna be doing an oil change on my boy Gerald here. So I used to never do my own oil changes, never knew how to do them. Once I figured it out and saw how easy it was, I will never pay for an oil change again. It like splits the money right in half. And it's so easy, at least on my car it is. This is just to show that anybody can work on their car because I have absolutely zero knowledge about cars. So let's get right into it. Gerald is a 2017 Toyota Rav4. He's the LE version, just the standard two-wheel drive. But he's been telling me he wants some new oil, so time to give him what he's asking for. We're gonna pop her hood by just pulling this little lever right here. Now we're just gonna open her up. There's a little lever in here. You gotta push to the left, put this thing up. So now it's time to get rid of the old oil. If you don't know what oil to replace it with, it says it right there on the oil cap. So we're gonna be using SAE OW20. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna take this off. And this cap's really important. I just like to set it right here. That way I can't shut the hood without putting that back on. Trust me, you do not want to start your car without that cap on. Now we're gonna get under the car and it can get a little messy, so I'm gonna throw on these gloves. Typically somebody would probably put their car on a lift or jack it up a little bit, but I don't have those tools and my car is just high enough where I can reach under there and unplug that bolt with my hand. And then I have some cardboard under there just in case there's any oil spillage. Now there's a little bolt underneath the car. It's 9/16 in size, so we're gonna take our ratchet. So this bolt is like right here. I don't think you can see it in the camera. So I'm just gonna crank it loose just a little bit to where I can just spin it with my fingers. Now I'm gonna slide the oil pan back under. So I'm just unscrewing this bolt with my fingers. As soon as I know I have it all the way, I'm gonna try to pull this bolt out towards me as quick as I can and let the oil drain out. There we go. And now the oil is draining. We'll give that about 10 to 15 minutes to drain completely, and then we'll replace the filter. So the oil's done draining, and we're just gonna take this little screw, wipe it off with our rag, and then we're just gonna screw it back in. I'm tightening it up. I'm gonna clean this area up. Then I'll take this ratchet and I'll tighten it. And you don't wanna make it too tight, but just tight enough. And now it's time for the filter. That's where the oil filter is. So it's just directly in front. Oil filters are naturally hard to take off. So I have this little tool that I ordered off Amazon. It was pretty cheap, but it's the exact size of my oil filter and it makes it really easy to take off. It just hooks onto this ratchet and you can crank it off. So your new oil filter should come with this little tool right here. Now we're gonna take this and there's a little spot that we can push it up into where the old filter used to be, and it's gonna drain out all that old oil. All right, so I just got that initial little metal piece off. Now I'm gonna stick that plastic piece into the bottom of our oil filter. And then once all that oil's out, we're gonna take that plastic tool off. Now I'm coming back in with this oil filter tool that I showed you, and I'm gonna pop this oil filter completely off now. Grab back to that oil pan, just in case. Boom, the oil filter is now out. There was this little rubber stopper here, and it came out with our tool. Sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, we just wanna remove that off real quick. Now we wanna take our oil filter out. You can tell this one was ready to be replaced. It is nice and disgusting looking. So we're gonna set that down, and then we're just gonna get this last rubber stopper off, and I just use this plastic tool to kinda roll it off, take it off. Now I take a little rag. I like to clean off all the extra oil here. I'm just going with the STP filter because that's AutoZone's brand and they're on sale. So in the package, we have our new filter, 2 rubber stoppers, and that little plastic tool that we already used. And now what we do is we take this rubber stopper and we just want to work it down to where it was, so it replaces that one we took off, and that looks good right there. Now we can take our new filter and just put it in here. Doesn't matter how it goes, it just goes in like that. And the last little ring goes on the bottom here like that, and then we can just take this piece and screw it back on here so that little rubber stopper doesn't fall off. And now we're ready to put it back in the car. I'm gonna take our filter, screw it back in as much as we can by hand. Then I'm gonna take our special tool again and just tighten this up a little bit more. We want it pretty tight because This is an important part. We don't want any leaks or anything like that. So boom, you can tell it's nice and good. Thing likes to get stuck on there. Now we're just tightening that little middle bolt too to make sure it's nice and secure. Boom, feels good. Now we're ready to put in the new oil. So we're gonna put a funnel in this hole right here. It's the cap that we originally took off. Now make sure you have the right oil for your car. I use OW20. I'm using Valvoline. That's just what my car had in it before. So I'm going to continue to put this in it. And I'm using the high mileage because Gerald right here is almost at 150,000 miles. This car takes 4.6 liters. So we're going to pour this whole thing in here, but we're good to go. And another thing is to make sure your funnel's clean because you don't want any dirty stuff going into your oil. But we're just gonna pour this in here nice and smooth. All right, our new oil is now locked and loaded. Once you have that done, go ahead and take that first cap that you took off and put it right back on there. Now we're gonna check the oil levels, but you don't wanna check the oil levels just right off the bat. You actually wanna let your car run for like 5-10 minutes. So we're gonna turn the car on here. All right, so while we're waiting for the car to run a little bit, I'm gonna show you how I dispose of my oil too. I just put a funnel into our original bottle. My oil dish has a little thing that I can pour the oil out of. And then I try to just slowly pour in this old oil. So you're probably thinking, why do I pour it back into this bottle? And that's because I can take it to AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts, whichever one it is, I keep forgetting. But I can give it to them and they will actually recycle this oil and take care of it for me. So that's nice. So I like doing that because I have no idea how to dispose of oil other than that. Get as much out of there as we can. Boom, your old oil is now ready to take to AutoZone. The car's been running for a good minute. We're just gonna turn it off. Now to check the oil levels, we're just gonna take this stick out, give it a nice wipe down here, put it back in, make sure it's all the way down in there, and pull it back out, and you can see where your oil levels are. I don't know if you guys can really see that. Can't really get a great shot of it, but there's 2 dots on there, and if it's up to the top dot, then you're full and you're good to go. So now, when we start the car, this little menu pops up right here, maintenance required. To get rid of that, all we gotta do is hit this back button, and then we're just gonna scroll over to this menu here, go to vehicle settings, go to schedule maintenance, and reset that data. Yes, data has been reset, and then you can just go back to your normal screen, and now you can see when I start the car back up again, we no longer have that message. I'm no mechanic, but it always feels nice to work on my own car and feel like I can do the maintenance required to own it. Anyways, that's all I have for day 16. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to tune back in tomorrow for day 17 to see what we got going on.